Good evening, Robert Fortunato, owner builder of the Green Idea House, 20-year resident homeowner here. Wanted to start by thanking all of you for taking all of your time to put this together. This is a critically important time. This plan is probably going to stand for 20 to 25 years, right? We all know that. And it has to do something specific for us, right? I happen to do strategic planning as an occupation, and strategic plans should be aspirational. They should inspire you to do something bigger than what you just would normally do, right? And I would challenge you to take a look at this document and say, does that actually do this? And to Tracy's point, what's the cost-benefit analysis, right? First of all, we all know that we don't have a lot of money here in this town, right? So how are you actually going to fund this plan? We have plans for PCH and aviation and all those things, and we spend tons of time on them. And guess what? They don't get done. Why? They don't have funding, right? You guys all understand that. So, so not to waste your time, right? We have to say, how are we going to fund this plan? And this plan was originally funded, that is the doing of it. And I really want to acknowledge Leanne and Matt, because they put a lot of time and effort into facilitating a tough process during a tough time. We were going through the oil process, and the politics and everything else of that just was very disturbing for a lot of us, right? And now we're on the other side of something, and we can actually do something that's more generative and come back to what the origination of this thing was. I don't know how many of you remember, but a number of us worked really hard to get a grant, right? It was actually my client who donated a year's worth of grant writing services to find us the $410,000 to do a carbon neutral overlay to our general plan. $410,000, right? So what did we do with the money that was allocated to do a carbon neutral overlay to the general plan? We did a general plan with it. And, and the documents you're looking at don't actually say the words carbon neutral anymore, right? So why is that important, right? Because there's enough green stuff in there, sustainability stuff to get us buzzed, right? So I would say if we were playing that drinking game, none of us would be buzzed, because the effectuality of what's actually in the document is not strong enough. We have the opportunity to have some white lightning in there that could be really fun to play with, but we've taken it out. And it's unfortunate because that bit, that carbon neutral bit, was quantified by the city as in terms of its cost-benefit analysis, right? And the city found that if you invested $130 million, big numbers, actually smaller than an oil drilling rig though, right? That thing would have cost $150 to $200 million. But it wouldn't have done what this document could do for the city, which is to return to the city, and this is what the Brendel Group report found, and so I encourage you to look at it. The city paid, I don't know, $20,000 or $30,000 for this report, and the report says that that $130 million investment would return to the city $36 million per year for the next 40 years. So bigger than our city budget would be an annuity that's available to us if we align this document to that opportunity, right? If we have the vision to do that thing, right? And so I would challenge all of you to say, is that something you're up for now? Is that something that we can do as a city? Because this plan will do what a lot of plans do if it doesn't have some fire behind it. As you know, what happens with plans, right? They get done, sit on a shelf, right? And we have a lot of those laying around. But I would challenge all of you to demand from this thing what it can actually do for us and for our crumbling infrastructure, for us and our children. So that's my challenge to you. I'm happy to step up and help in any way that's helpful to all of you. But I just want to make sure we didn't lose the opportunity, because if this thing passes into a final document, it will be done. No one will revisit this subject again. The door will be closed on it. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your attention. And thank you so much for your service.